Well, the general manager of the Hamilton Ticats has died. Ted Goveia had been battling an aggressive form of cancer. The Burlington native was in his first season as Ticats GM. And prior to his death, the team had already planned to honor his impact on Canadian football during tonight's game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. A statement from Hamilton Mayor Andrea Horvath reads in part, quote, Ted's leadership, dedication, and passion for the game left a lasting impact on the team, the league, and the fans who love the sport. His legacy will live on, and the strength of the team and the community he helped inspire. And for more on Goveia's death, I'm joined live by TSN's Dave Naylor. Dave, thanks a lot for joining us. First off, what would you like to say about Goveia? What do you want to share?
Well, Ted Goveia became a general manager for the first time this past winter when he got, I think what a lot of people have called appropriately, his dream job. He grew up in Burlington, become the general manager of the Hamilton Ticats. But I think what really stands out for Ted is the path that he took to get there. You know, he grew up playing the game, he coached the game, he scouted the game. He was involved in grassroots football in this country. He was involved in university football in this country on both coasts. And he was involved in the Canadian Football League. He was 5 years the assistant general manager of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers during the years that they went to 5 consecutive Grey Cups. And of course, most recently, as the GM of the Hamilton Ticats, who were the first place team in the East Division this year. He was a guy who loved football, loved the work, and loved the people in the game of football. And that was a two-way street. There are extremely heavy hearts all across the Canadian Football League because Ted Goveia was one of those guys, whether you saw his number pop up on your phone or you ran into him on the sidelines before a game, he was always there with a smile and a conversation about something going on in football. And that's really who he was.
Dave, how would you sum up his impact, his legacy?
Well, everybody loves watching football and loves the plays and the blocks and the tackles and the touchdowns. But football is a game where more work goes into everything that happens than any other. I mean, it's a game you play one day a week and you only play 18 times a year as opposed to other sports. And so I remember running into Ted one time at an event called the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama. It's a showcase of the best college players that are coming in. All the NFL and CFL scouts are out there. And I was getting onto an elevator and there he was. And I said, hey, Ted, where you been? And he said, he rhymed off where he'd been. He'd been in, 6 cities in 9 days or something like that, 5 cities in 8 days. And he was just working out players, driving to see some players there, driving to see some players there, making evaluations, filing reports. There's so much that goes in to a football organization's work that the fans never see, that on game day, is weeks and months ago, what we call the grinding of the sport. Ted was a grinder. That's how he worked his way up. And I think anybody who wants to sort of follow his footsteps, you would understand the path it takes to learn and grow in this game. And Ted's impact most of it was behind the scenes, but anybody who worked in the sport in scouting or player development and understood the impact that he had, not just at the professional level, but even at the amateur and university levels in this country as well.
And how do you expect him to be honored during tonight's game?
Well, obviously, this was planned before they knew. Look, I think it's been well known in the CFL, and even the Ticats said back in the spring, an aggressive form of cancer. And I think there was an understanding that he might not see the end of the season. Of course, they wouldn't have known that he wasn't going to be around for this night, this special night. And it's not a coincidence that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are in town, because this was the team that he was the assistant general manager with up until this season. So, yeah, I expect it to be a very solemn night, and at the same time, just one of those nights where people will share stories of Ted Goveia. And it's going to be sad because I think there are, Ted was in his mid-50s. And I tweeted this morning, I said, this is in 34 plus years of sports reporting, this is one of the saddest things I've experienced, just because I think so many people were so happy for Ted to finally break through and get that general manager's post that he was seeking, and to be able to do it in Hamilton as a Burlington guy. It was just one of those stories that came together. So there's going to be a lot of sadness that there was so much going right in Ted Goveia's life, before he was diagnosed with this illness this spring. And it just feels tragic, and frankly, it feels cruel. That's one of the emotions. But I think there's also going to be a great recognition of the guy he was, and try to bring that out, and just the sharing of stories and memories of Ted So many people, I say, very heavy and sad hearts, but at the same time, he leaves behind a great legacy. And I think everybody who knew him in the game feels a degree of gratitude for that.
Dave, thank you for your time and your words.
Thank you so much.
TSN's Dave Naylor.